Hello. I always do this where I make a video and then I stop and upload it and then make a second video immediately. I am wanting to kind of talk a little bit about my emotional state right now. I am really raw right now. I had therapy today. I think it's been like 7 weeks or 8 weeks or something, and breakup was almost 3 months ago exactly. About 11 weeks, I guess. I'm really not feeling that much better, to be honest, and I wonder sometimes, is it because I ruminate about it so much? I wonder sometimes if even talking about these things keeps it on the mind more than it needs to be. Even talking about it, talking right now, I'm talking to myself really, but talking about it to random people that I know, even talking about it to my therapist, it's like, is there a reason for it? Is there a need? Should I be doing it? Maybe, like, you kind of start to question pretty much everything, and I start to ask myself, like, what's the right way? What's the right thing to do? And it's like, in reality, there is not really a right thing, I guess, but I don't know. It's very frustrating. And I've heard some videos lately all about like the Jungian theories about men and women, and how women are these completely emotionally flexible beings, and men are used to kind of walking in and saying this is how it's going to be, and being much more solid and much more about control and having the answers and stuff, and the woman more about flowing around that and dropping hints here and there and kind of guiding. And then when seeing that the man isn't all that they want him to be, kind of driving that vessel towards the next fellow or the next situation or whatever. And anyway, I listened to some of these things and I just was kind of like repulsed by the kind of way of thinking. Not necessarily because I don't think it's right. I think there's probably some truth to a lot of it, but the idea that, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Whenever I make a video, I always start yawning. It's because I'm in bed, I guess. But the idea that you can kind of encapsulate things like that, and not only that, but like it started kind of making me think about how people see the kind of gender differences and stuff, and I agree that there are some big differences, but I can't really imagine like living my whole life kind of putting that at the top of the list, and thinking like I always have to bear this in mind. I always have to remember that women are men and men are different, and kind of operating under the assumption that we will never see eye to eye, we will never get along, we will always have problems, until, and this is the thing that was also kind of like in one of the videos that I saw, was talking about this thing called like individualization or something like that. How to become an individualized, I think that's what it was. Something about integrating your animus and all these sorts of things. It's bizarre. But I don't know. Then you think, well, like, these people, they must know better than I do. They're experts, right? And people tell you what you should and shouldn't do. And what you should think, and don't say that, and don't contact that person, and don't feel that way, and you just have to decide to be the bigger person, and you just have to decide to move on, and you just have to let her go, and you just have to, all of these things, like dozens and dozens of things that you have to do, and I don't feel like any of them, and I don't know if I'm just obstinate or what, but I also know that none of them know my exact journey. None of them know my relationship. And then it's like, well, maybe I didn't even know my relationship, you know? Maybe my relationship was not what I thought it was. But I really think, it's so hard to believe that, because I feel like we were really on the same page for so long. And then when I mentioned, like, to a friend that I don't know that well, that she had said stuff about us moving somewhere together, that would have been in like a couple months' time. And that was 2 weeks before she broke up with me. Then 1 week before she broke up with me, she said something about our wedding. Maybe it was a joke, whatever, but still, she used those words, and I responded like, wow, it makes me so happy to read that you would say something like that. That's really, like, just to put it in words like that was a big deal, and it really pleased me so much. And I shared things like that so often with her, as far as how special she really was to me. And, you know, you kind of see where that got me, right? Like, and that kind of makes me start thinking, like, yeah, maybe I should listen to these theories and whatever. But, you know, once she feels like she knows you, once she feels like she gets you, there's no mystery left. There's no whatever. There's nothing to figure out. The kind of game, the interesting thing is over. And you just think, well, fuck, like, I don't know. This is very freaky shit. But I'm also working. Oh my gosh. I've had such a long day at work. I've felt like shit at work. I'm really starting to hate my job. It's so intense sometimes, and it's like not at all satisfying. It's not at all what I want to be doing, but it's the job that I have, and I have the contract that I have that potentially would result in me getting my residency paperwork like issued. So I just feel so trapped in so many areas of my life, and she was kind of this liberation from that, and kind of this door out of that. And I recognize, you know, maybe that's not fair to put all that on a person, but I thought we were in agreement about what we were going to do, and meeting her family and stuff. Speaking of, I saw her brother has watched my story on Instagram a few times in the past week or so, and man, it just I want to say I love him. I love him for that. I love him for watching. I love him for, even as I don't think it was an accident, you know. I don't think he was just like, oops, I accident. I don't know, but because it happened a few times. Both of her brothers still follow me, and one of them has watched more than the other, but only, you know, a handful of times. And I just love both of them for that. That they're not in it, right? Like, they don't know. They're not suffering, you know. But they must know what's going on with their sister, you know, and I just kind of think, like, man, I love them for watching, and actually, like, maybe they don't care per se, but they know something about me, and they know something about my life, even something so tiny as a stupid Instagram story. And I hope that they have some sort of takeaway from that, and maybe even tell her something. I don't know what's going on with me. I would love to know anything about her and know anything about what's going on, and to have the opportunity to maybe talk, And anybody that I tell that, they're like, what would that even do? What would that give you? Like, why would you even want that? Like, she did it for a reason, and she doesn't want, and you have to respect that, and all this stuff. And it's like, come on, for God's sakes, like I loved her and she loved me. And it's like, what did that doesn't just disappear, does it? If that just disappears, I just can't. I don't know. And it just, I'm not gonna say I'm suicidal, but for the love of God, like I am not happy, and I'm very, very frustrated and very upset every day. It's a horrible feeling. You realize it's been a quarter of a year, and I know, I feel that I have aged. I've aged so much in a quarter of a year. Probably I've like 2 years worth. I feel like I look in the mirror and I just look so tired. And I've been drinking a lot more, that's for sure. But man, there are times when I would just love to just not wake up, and just have this be done, because it's so exhausting. And that she doesn't know that, and she doesn't have to know that. Isn't that a blessing for her, And I'm not saying that she needs to like suffer because of me. No, but like I suffer because of her. I don't wish suffering on her, but I wish awareness on her. I wish that she would care to check in, or maybe she does care, but she just isn't capable of opening herself up to these feelings like I am. I'm very much like willing to hurt for someone that I love, and maybe too much, and people say, well, now you have to be okay on your own, and you have to have boundaries, and you can't let somebody walk all over you. So man, I want somebody who wants me the same way that I want them, and that's what I thought that I had. I was 100% sure. So it's pretty devastating when it's even been 3 months later, it's still devastating to think about. And I look over to the desk where she used to work when she was here visiting for weeks and weeks. I go out to my living room and I sit on the sofa where we watched the Olympics last summer religiously. Everywhere that I go, everywhere that I look, it's something about her. And she lives in Valencia. I went there a few times, but not as much as she came here, so I don't think she has that. I don't know. But man, I would love for us to be in each other's lives again. But in whatever way. Because I would love things to go back to how they were, but if they can never go back, like, it is such a horrible tragedy to feel like you've lost your best friend too, that she was the only one that I cared about, like talking to every day and telling all the little things and stuff. So man, it hurts so bad. There's a lot of things that I want to say, but I can't think of them all right now. Anyway, maybe for another video.